Each Sunday this month, we're hearing from different people about what stewardship means to them. We have two people in their 20s who are here to talk about what it means in that age group to be people who are good stewards, starting with Margaret McLeod.
I'll take it. I mean, my 20s. I'm actually 32. But I'll take it.
You did the transition really well.
Graduate school arguably is the most mentally, physically, spiritually, and financially taxing stage in life. Believe me, I know. I've been balancing graduate school with my developing professional career for the past 7 years, with at least 2 more to go. Although you feel perpetually obligated to study every waking hour, your stipend barely represents minimum wage, which is even more challenging when supporting a family. Fun fact, 50% of marriages don't survive graduate school. Worst of all, you feel subject to constant scrutiny about whether you're good enough and smart enough to pass muster. I can't tell you how many times this kind of imposter syndrome mentality has caused me to question whether I belong in the ivory towers of academia. So, given how far graduate school stretches our budgets and our brains, what am I doing asking any graduate student to consider participating in our fall stewardship campaign for Maxwell Street? Pledging to make a specific financial commitment to the church gives me a sense of belonging that is so rare in graduate school. Even though finances are tight, I can plan to budget the few bucks that I might throw in the collection plate on a Sunday as a pledge that really adds up. $5 a month equals $60 a year, $5 a week is $260 a year, $25 a month equals $300 a year. Pledging gives me a sense of ownership and enacting the church's incredible mission and helps me experience the reality that, even in the midst of this mentally and financially draining time of life, I'm abundantly blessed by God's gifts and always will have a place to belong in His church.
Thanks. Preston, you still are in your 20s, aren't you?
I am in my 20s, but nobody ever told me that I have age. So.
He doesn't. He's more like a teenager, but he is one of our elders. We're very glad to have him.
Good morning. I think this is the first time I've been up here since Youth Sunday 2009. A couple new faces, and I've got a new face myself, but nothing really else has changed, except for having a real job and a real car and a real apartment and a real busy schedule, but everything else is pretty much the exact same thing. Adulting, as my friends and I frequently call it when we're complaining about some new feature of being a grown-up, is something I feel like I've done a pretty good job of grasping. When I was first starting out, man, I felt like I was up a creek. What are benefits? What does an FSA do? Is going on a $100 plus spending binge on Amazon every payday sustainable? It's not. There was so much to learn about living responsibly that I figured my only option was just to take a nap and hope I had an epiphany. That didn't work either. But eventually I got the hang of these things. And then right as I felt that everything was coming up Preston, Maxwell Street had the gumption to ask me to help support them fiscally. Ugh, just one more thing. I got rent, I got student loans, I got car payments. I wasn't necessarily thrilled at another expense coming through. Then I thought about it for a second, and I've been a member of this church for a hot minute, and I had a decent idea where all the stewardship dollars went. I knew that the church needed money and would use it intelligently and responsibly in a way that would best achieve their goals, which are pretty in line with my own. So I resolved to do my part, but not that night. I was busy. I had important things to do, like watch TV. So I put a pin in it and promptly forgot about my internal pledge. And that is until I was appointed a session. At my installation, I was told the first rule of session meetings is you don't talk about session meetings. So hopefully nobody on session is out there right now. Because going to those meetings and getting a chance to look at the budget line by line was an inflection point. I went from being a passerby to a fixture of the inner workings of the church. I saw why things worked the way they did and how certain programs would be affected by a choke cash flow. I saw how few people paid the presbytery per capita fee. I learned what the presbytery per capita fee was. Seriously, pay your per capita fee. Learn what the per capita fee is. I heard from committees talking about how Shelley needed $45 to keep someone's heat on, or got reports from the youth about the $75 that Robbie spent on pizza and messy game nights and how awesome that was. And it felt weird to have that knowledge and not do anything about it. So that night I went back to my apartment, sorted through the explosion of papers on my coffee table, and took that pen out of my stewardship brochure. But how much should I get? I dropped by my parents' house and to ask for some advice, and they told me what they pledged. They gave me some pointers on how much it's common to pledge, and then they spotted me some tips on how much they think someone in my position should pledge and how regularly I should do it. So lots of information right there. I walked out of the house with some knowledge and a whole lot of food that night. I sat down in front of my laptop and 17 pounds of pizza and set up a recurring pledge. It was that easy. The internet is amazing. Well, the last part wasn't easy. Everything before that was really difficult and something I'd never encountered before. So if you have questions, you're not alone. Ask around. I can only speak for myself, but I don't bite. We all want to see as many people involved as they can be with this church because Maxwell Street does great work. So now I know that even if I'm standing in the rain on a Thursday night, glowering at a bunch of dumb college ultimate frisbee players for doing a drill completely wrong, I know that my pledged dollars are at work helping out at the Thursday night meal, making sure that some of our neighborhood friends aren't standing out in the rain glowering for a completely different and more heartbreaking reason. Thank you.
Adulting, I didn't know that word. Okay, it's time for all of us to do a little adulting now. It's time for the morning offering. It is important and it is very, very good what we're able to do. So let us receive these thanks gifts.